Hello, beautiful people. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching, and listening. This is going to be the mid-March 2022 reading for the zodiac sign of Gemini. Welcome, fellow Geminis. As always, my readings are very intuitive, so I'll provide you any intuitive messages that I receive as well as the meaning of the tarot cards. I do, however, recommend you check out your sun, moon, and rising just to get a full picture of everything that's going on for you. And if you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to my channel. Subscriptions help me a lot, but also when you subscribe, you'll be notified when I post future videos, and I typically post a couple Gemini videos a month. With that being said, let's go and jump in and get started. In column number 1, we're going to take a look at what's wrapping up, coming to a close for you. In column number 2, we're going to take a look at what's going to happen through the end of March. We're going to do a money column, a love column, and in our 5th and final column, we're going to do a message from our future self or spirit guides. Let's pull a summary card here. We have the card reaction. So Gemini, likely there is something that you were more reactive to in the last few weeks than you would have liked to have been. Oftentimes when I see the card reaction, I don't want to say overreaction, but that's going to be the best way that I could probably word it in a short time, is like, I think things just bothered you more. You had more of a response or reaction to something than you had intended. But let's take a look and see what kind of messages we have. The first card that we have is the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is a card of being very studious. It's working very hard. So in general, the last few weeks, you've probably been pretty busy and pretty hard working, Gemini. This could also be a card of new love. So for some of you, there could have been some new love. The next card that we have is the Empress. The Empress is a card of creation. It's a card of abundance. It's also a card of pregnancy and fertility. So for some of you, there could have been some pregnancy news or fertility news. In terms of reaction, I do feel like that's pretty closely associated with this card at the bottom. We do have the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords is an interesting card. If you look at this person, they're blindfolded and their arms and legs are bound down, but then we have all these swords stuck in the ground, and you can very easily like wiggle back, Gemini, and cut yourself free. So we might have like been in a moment where we realized like we kind of got ourselves here, or we were stuck because of us, where we could have potentially handled things differently or saw things differently, but we have kind of limited ourselves in some fashion. But let's take a look and see what other kind of messages that we have here. The card that we have, our first clarifying card, is the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is a card of being kind of at rock bottom. It's feeling very low. This person's laid flat and has all these swords stuck into them. That very well could be part of the reaction too. It just could be a hard time. It feels like it's been a trying few weeks, Gemini. I do think the card of working hard, though, I feel like this is saying you continue to work hard. And for some of you, you could be in a new relationship coming off a very hurtful and low relationship as well. The next card that we have is the Justice card. So we have two major arcanas on top of each other here. Whenever I see the Justice card is favorable for you, Gemini. This is a card of like cause and effect or win-win solutions. There could also be some sort of truth that came out. But I really feel like you're creating a abundant, positive new future for yourself. And it's just going to be win, 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 win all around, Gemini. The next card we have is the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is a card of rivalry, challenges, obstacles. The interesting thing with this card is they're not fighting with swords, they're fighting with wands. So this is typically like small bumps in the road. What I'm getting here, especially paired with the Eight of Swords, you might have felt like you were in a competition or being challenged, Gemini, when you might not have actually been. It could have been like, oh, we like told ourselves this one thing, but it wasn't actually what was happening or what was being said. Again, kind of going into that reaction, maybe we took it a different way than it actually was. So I think we created more competition or conflict or challenges for ourselves than needed possibly in the last few weeks. Again, this is what's wrapping up and coming to a close though, so these are all good things to put to bed and move forward from. Now let's take a look at our next column, which is what's going to happen through the end of March. We have the card Magnetism. This is all about attracting what we want to ourselves. Very much so like manifesting or praying if you're religious. But with magnetism, it's very important, Gemini, that you focus on what you want, because what you think is what you get. Well, let's see what cards we have here, what kind of messages. The first card we have is the Three of Wands. This is a card of expansion, possibly travel. So some of you could be traveling going into the end of the month. But in terms of expansion, maybe you want spiritual growth, or you want educational growth, or you want financial growth. The Three of Wands is absolutely a card of expansion. So with the card magnetism there, you need to be focusing on how you want to expand. Like I said, if you want to get accepted to a certain college, or if you want to get promoted to a certain position, really hone in and focus on the expansion that you want. The next card that we have is the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is very self-sufficient and very honest. I feel like you're feeling very independent. You're very well off right now, Gemini. You're taking great care of yourself. Continue to be very honest in your communications. It will benefit you definitely. And the interesting thing about honesty and being clear on what you want, in order to attract what you want, you need to be clear on what you want. So continue on that honesty path there. Then at the bottom here, we have the Four of Cups. I do feel like there will be some sort of surprise gift for you. Maybe your new love interest will be bringing you flowers or a cake or something you didn't expect. This can come in terms of money too, like you might get a bonus or like a spot bonus or a promotion of some sort or raise. It does feel monetary for some of you, but there will be a surprise gift that you weren't expecting. Maybe flowers from an old friend, like I said, a lunch date. Some sort of surprise gift there. Now let's clarify this column and see what other messages we can get. We have the Page of Swords. I'm really connecting this to the Queen of Swords, which we're talking about being honest. The Page of Swords is kind of like a gossipy card or a truth card. Again, stay focused on what you want and don't worry so much about the gossip. Really focus on your truth and living your truth. Again, for expansion, you have to know how exactly you want to expand. The next card we have is the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles is a card for desire for long-term security. So again, you're very focused on long-term right now, expanding on what you want. You're being able to attract these things. So again, stay clear, make sure you know what you want. And a note of being self-sufficient too. This is saying like whatever you desire long-term, you're capable of providing for yourself, Gemini. Then at the bottom here, we have the Ace of Wands. Anytime we have an ace card, ace cards are a card of newness. I do think that this is oftentimes like new project or new inspiration. So some of you could definitely be taking on a new role at work, and that will be that higher pay, that kind of surprise gift. It's also very creative energy, so make sure you're looking at things with a creative lens as you go into the end of March. Now let's take a look at our next column, which is anything related to money. So this could be career, finances, businesses you run, investments you have, anything money. The first card that we have is the Ace of Cups. Again, anytime we have an ace card, it's a card of newness. Typically this means a new baby, relationship, proposal, or marriage. I do see some of you having a new business relationship, so possibly a new coworker or a new boss. This could be a business proposal too, like maybe somebody approaches you about wanting to go into business with you or possibly merging your companies. But there does seem to be some new relationship or proposal on the front there for you, Gemini. The next card we have is the Page of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles is also new job type energy. It's also new money energy, so love to see the Page of Pentacles in the money column. But this could be a new job, it could be a raise, or just some sort of money news. So again, wonderful, wonderful card to have. Then at the bottom here, we have the Judgment card. Similar to the Justice card that we were talking about earlier, the Judgment card is something that's always favorable for you. So this is going to be clarity. But I do think some of you will be making a decision this month. Maybe you have to decide to take on this new business partner or merge companies. I do think it's going to be very financially rewarding though, whatever this decision is, Gemini. Let's see what clarifying messages we have. The first clarifying card is the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is new project, new creative idea. Not surprised to see two new cards together, honestly. That's just kind of how the world works. So we have the newness with the Ace of Cups and we have newness with the Page of Wands. My note with the Page of Wands that I want to leave you with is, again, be very creative. We talked about that down here with the Ace of Wands as well. Creative keeps coming up for you, Gemini. So take a creative approach to this new person or this new business idea. Maybe you're like inclined to say no, but really think through and see if there is a creative way to say yes. That's a message coming through there for you. The next card we have is the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords can go either way. Sometimes this card is telling you you're tired, or sometimes it's telling you that you will be renewed and recovered. If you're having financial issues, I do feel like there is some financial recovery coming for you, which is really wonderful. But I feel like in general, you'll be really renewed, inspired, and feeling great with whatever this new money news that's coming in. Then at the bottom we have the Magician. The Magician, so we have two major arcanas here together, the Judgment on top of the Magician card. This is again another card of creativity. I don't know that I give you a lot of like creative cards typically, Gemini, so creative is really a word that's sticking out going into the end of March. But this is about turning your visions into reality. So I feel like whatever this decision is that you're going to make, this is it. Like you're dream bound at this point. You're going to be accomplishing all of those things that you want to be accomplishing. Now let's take a look at our next column, which is anything related to love. So this could be family, friends, relationships, children. Again, anything in that love vein. And let's see what we have here. The first card we have is the Six of Wands. The Six of Wands is a card of success and good news. So there's going to be some sort of good news. Maybe for some of you, your partners are getting a new job, or like, this sounds silly, but even your parent like might be getting a really wonderful new job. There just feels to be success in the household or in your circle, if that makes sense. There could also just be good news for you though, so be watching out for good news on the love front. The next card that we have is the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is a card of healing and being supportive. Healing is an ongoing process, so I would say for some of you, when it comes to love, there possibly are some things that you still need to heal from. Be very proactive in your healing. One thing I like about the Queen of Cups is if you look at the cup on this card, it's not really a cup, it's more like a trophy. This is always such a good reminder that you are the trophy, Gemini. So if for whatever reason you're feeling broken down or there's something that you're feeling like you need to heal from, again, this is a good reminder that you are the trophy. Then at the bottom we have the High Priestess. This is a card about intuition and trusting yourself. So as things come up related to family, love, relationships the end of this month, just make sure you're really trusting your intuition and doing what feels right for you. Let's see what other messages I can give you. The first clarifying card we have is the Three of Pentacles. The Three of Pentacles is about teamwork. It's about collaboration. So I think for those of you that are in a relationship, this is a really, really good card. You're in that true teamwork, partnership type relationship where you're both doing a lot for each other. When it comes to collaboration, I would say make sure you're communicating how you're feeling, what you're thinking. Just a reminder there. The next card we have is the Queen of Cups. For those of you who watch my readings before, you know I love so much when this happens, when we have the same card on top of each other. It's literally like the universe being like, I said what I said. So just a reminder, Gemini, you are the trophy. Then at the bottom here, we have the King of Cups. The King of Cups is another card of being tolerant and empathetic and supportive. So again, possibly a very healing month for you. But when it comes to trusting your intuition, it's like know when to give and when to take is the message that's coming. Like, be empathetic. That doesn't mean you have to let everything slide with everyone, but do make sure that people are, do make sure you understand that people are living their own lives and have their own feelings and have their own things going on. That's the message I have there for you. Now let's take a look at our fifth and final column, which is a message from our future self or spirit guides, so something to carry into the end of the month. We have the card Unity. Well, likely you'll be feeling some new unity going into the end of March, Gemini, but let's see what messages I can give you here. The first card we have is the Wheel of Fortune. For those of you that watch my readings, you know that the Wheel of Fortune is one of my favorite cards in the entire deck. This is a card of good fortune. It's a card of good luck. It's also a turning point. I do feel like there's going to be financial correction in a positive manner for some of you. We talked about that a little bit earlier. So I do think this is another really good money card, and it is also just indicating that you're at a really shifting or turning point here. Again, we're looking at magnetism and attracting what we want long term. The next card we have is the Eight of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles is another good money type card. It's about working hard. Your work is being appreciated. You're working smarter, not harder. It's oftentimes enjoying the work that you're doing too. Then at the bottom here we have the King of Swords. The King of Swords is very intentional, very strategic. I like seeing the King of Swords because this is long term. So I really feel like you're at a point where you've been working really hard and you're at this turning point where everything is going long term. You're really setting your future self up for success here, Gemini. Now let's take a look at, both of those wanted to come out, so you can have both of those together. Let's see. The first clarifying card we have is the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is about keeping and maintaining boundaries. It's about being very persistent. And persistency is the thing that's really hanging out here. I feel like as you get to this turning point, you can't let off the gas. You have to keep pushing, Gemini. That's the message that's coming through. So even though now you really can see the light at the end of the tunnel, that doesn't mean you should go from running to crawling. Then we had two cards jump out here. So on top of our Eight of Pentacles, we have the Three of Swords and the Seven of Pentacles. I feel like this has been a waiting game and lots of healing has had to happen to get you to this point, to this turning point. With the Three of Swords, it's oftentimes like pulling the heart out of our own sword. It's like you wanted somebody else to help you heal and they just weren't there. This is a lot of self-healing. And then the Seven of Pentacles is absolutely a waiting card. So this healing maybe has taken some time to do as well. Something, again, you've been working hard towards, but it's gotten you to this turning point with the Wheel of Fortune. Then at the bottom here, we have the Five of Pentacles. This is a card of worry. It's paired with the King of Swords. And I feel like some of you have just been worried about your future. But I hope that you can put some of that to rest here because overall we have a really good spread. Like I said, I feel like some of you have been running as fast as you can towards your future. And you're finally at this turning point. So this worry is going to resolve itself is what I'm trying to say. But at this point in time, I'm going to give you the opportunity to ask 3 yes or no questions. We're going to use the Gypsy Witch fortune telling deck. If you don't have 3 questions in mind, you can pause the video and think of them really quick. We're going to jump in. For question number 1, we have the Three of Hearts. This is the number 1 card. That's going to be a yes. Question number 2, we have the Ace of Hearts. This is the number 11 card. That's going to be a yes as well. And for question number 3, we have the Three of Clubs. This is number 5 card. That's going to be yes also. So yes, 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 Gemini. If you watched your earlier video this month for March, we did pull a card from our Healing Stones deck, which is a crystal to keep with you throughout the month. The crystal you got was heliotrope. This helps with differentiating. It helps with protection. It fends off spiritual and emotional assaults. It also helps you set clear boundaries. And then last but not least, Gemini, we're going to pull a card from our Healing Notes deck. Message that says, understanding is the first step to acceptance, and only with acceptance can there be recovery. Thank you so much, Gemini, for tuning in, watching, and listening. Please do like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how this video resonates with you. Again, when you subscribe, that helps me a lot. But when you're subscribed, you'll also be notified when I post future videos. If you feel inclined, I did include my Venmo in the comments box if you'd like to make a donation. But thank you again, Gemini, and have a wonderful rest of your March.